I feel like there's way too many Marvel vs. Capcom games. I mean, this is Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes. It's a game from 1998, and it's still the third Marvel vs. Capcom game. How many have they made since then? It has been estimated that there's over 757,000 Marvel vs. Capcom games that have been released. Well, that's actually not true. Believe it or not, Marvel vs. Capcom doesn't really have that many games in the franchise. There's only like 8 or something, and it's been around for 2 decades, over 2 decades. I think the reason it feels like there's so many Marvel vs. Capcom games is because every time a Marvel vs. Capcom game comes out, it's out for like every system. It's out for smartphones, Xbox, PlayStation, and then also the arcade. I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes, it was out for the arcade, the Dreamcast, the PlayStation. Then it came out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It's ridiculous how many systems these games are on. So it's like one game comes out, but then it's out for 50,000 systems, and it feels like there's a billion games when really there's only one. There is a reason Marvel vs. Capcom is a beloved franchise. It's because it's just the perfect arcade experience. Fighting your friends in Mortal Kombat using your favorite superheroes from games and comic books. I mean, what can be better? Clash of Superheroes is a fantastic addition to the series. One thing that I personally love about it, because I'm not a fighting game guy. I've said this before, but if you haven't heard me say it before, in terms of fighting games, the only ones I really truly love are realistic fighting games, like boxing games, UFC games, all that sort of thing. When it comes to stylistic, over-the-top, doing 50 flips in the air and then shooting a Hadouken out of your penis, that's not something that I personally enjoy. But Marvel vs. Capcom is the exception to the rule for me. And specifically Clash of Superheroes, because they give you the option to have easy, simple to understand controls. When you fight in easy mode, you don't have to press a billion buttons to perform a super move. You have to press 2 or sometimes even 1. It's perfect for an arcade fighting game casual like myself. It means arcade casuals like myself can enjoy Marvel vs. Capcom just as much as hardcore arcade sharks who bet money when they fight in the arcade. You can tell this is Marvel vs. Capcom from the late 90s because you don't have 500 billion characters to choose from. I mean, back in the day, this number of characters you're seeing to choose from was fine. This was actually a lot. Now you play Marvel vs. Capcom games, and there's not even room on the screen to include all the characters. You have to go to page 2, 3, 4, and 5 to include all the characters. And yet they still don't have my favorite characters, Static Shock, Steel, and Blank Man. Don't tell me racism doesn't still exist. Also, Marvel vs. Capcom, where's Meteor Man, huh? Where is he? And also, where's, Vampires in Brooklyn Man? Where's Pluto Nash? I want to play as Pluto Nash versus Hulk. Clash of Superheroes was a Marvel vs. Capcom game that was just as fun to play at home on the PlayStation as it was in the arcades. In fact, I think I prefer to play at home, just relaxing in bed with a snack versus trying to enjoy the game in an arcade while some overly hormonal kid covered in zits is using every cheap tactic in the book to hold on to his winning streak, holding up the line for everyone. Marvel vs. Capcom is a series that barely evolved. I mean, you look at gameplay trailers from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and then you look at Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes. The gameplay is virtually identical. I mean, down to the same moves. Obviously, there's graphical enhancements, but I really don't care about graphics. In fact, I don't even think they're enhancements. I mean, look at a trailer for Infinite. It looks like CGI, like they're computerized characters. It looks like characters from Reboot. And then you look at Clash of Superheroes, they're more cartoon, comic book type characters. Obviously, the graphics aren't advanced, but I honestly think Clash of Superheroes characters and graphics look better. And that's not nostalgia talking. I'm not that nostalgic for fighting games, honestly. Clash of Superheroes is a great fighting game. And that's coming from a man who is not a fan of arcade fighting games at all. So that is definitely high praise. It gets an official Stan Birdman rating of an 8.9 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more classic game reviews. Goodbye, my friends.